Nemet has worked tirelessly for American consumers in Washington. For over 30 years, Tom Nemet has worked hard to block legislation and regulations that would have raised the cost of cars and trucks for hardworking Americans. Joined by Ted Connolly, Bob McElwain, David Zinn, and others, he has led the fight to stop bad laws and regulations that would hurt ordinary people. In fact, working with Washington super lawyers Tommy Boggs and Jeff Turner, he has been working at the highest levels of government to block efforts by domestic auto companies that didn't want to have to compete on the basis of quality or price. As a result of Tom Nemet's efforts, Congress and prior administrations resisted the pressure to increase tariffs and otherwise increase the price of imported cars. As a result, ordinary consumers have had a wider selection of vehicles to choose from and have been able to buy them at lower prices. We stood up to powerful forces working against ordinary Americans, and we won. In the early days, before Honda, Toyota, and Nissan had become household names with factories building cars and trucks in the United States, Tom Nemet worked for the rights of everyday people to purchase good cars and trucks at a good price. He worked with 5 U.S. presidents, members of the United States Senate and House of Representatives, Secretary of the Treasury, Transportation and Commerce, as well as many other senior government leaders to help ensure consumers would have access to foreign-made cars, trucks, and 4x4s into the United States. With others in the industry, he helped block legislation that would have increased tariffs on vehicles imported into the United States, which would have dramatically increased the cost of these vehicles. Because he and others stood up for consumers, those proposed laws never made it onto the statute books. Because these foreign vehicles were so affordable, it made it possible for a large percentage of the population who previously could not afford to buy a new car to be able to afford a car of their choice. Tom Nemet also encouraged Nissan to build their cars and trucks in the United States. By doing so, Nissan created jobs for hardworking Americans, and it took away the ability of the domestic manufacturers to use tariffs and other protectionist measures to avoid having to compete. In addition, Tom Nemet and Ted Connolly continually lobbied legislators to get the banks in this country to offer more reasonable credit terms for all ethnic groups who previously had trouble getting auto loans from banks. They were also instrumental in saving Chrysler, the first time, by encouraging the government to provide Chrysler with financial help to keep working people working in the factories. Just step into Tom Nemet's office at the Nemet Auto Group. You will find pictures of Tom Nemet lobbying with every president in recent and in some cases not so recent memory. From President Gerald Ford to President Jimmy Carter to President Ronald Reagan to President George Bush to President Bill Clinton, Tom Nemet has had the privilege not only to work with the United States presidents, but with key members of the President's Cabinet, United States Senators, House members, and the leaders of both the Senate and House of Representatives over many decades. Why do we tell you all of this? Well, it's just a part of the American dream. You can make the difference, whether it's in your own household, in your immediate community, or on a larger scale. If you take the effort to stand up for what's right, you can make a difference in people's lives. At the Nemet Auto Group, we do our best to treat every customer right. We are driven by a philosophy established over 90 years ago when Nemet first opened its doors. We are perfect? No. But we want to be. That alone is the cornerstone of our business. That allows us to serve over 11,000 consumers each year. I hope to have the privilege of serving you.